Hello, this is Violet, and in this video I'm going to talk to you about my current version of my pedal board, what's on it, how I use it, and maybe show you a few of the combinations of stomp boxes that I use in different situations to make special sounds on my guitar. First of all, before I do that, since I started this Violet's Cover Songs project, November 2012 is when I started, I just want to thank everybody that has commented or liked or subscribed to my channel. I really appreciate that. My favorite part is interacting with people on the comments, and even if I get ornery once in a while, I still wind up having more often than not some positive interactions with people. So thank you very much for subscribing and all those things, and commenting and talking to me. But anyway, first thing I want to do is I want to explain why my pedal board is so much different this year than you're going to notice that if you saw last year's video. Why is it so different this year than last year? Well, part of that's because I have a new amplifier. Last year I was using a twin reverb, an old one from the 70s, which is a great amp, but it's really heavy to carry, and it has a lot of limitations. So what I did is I found a Fender Supersonic 22-watt combo with a single 12-inch speaker in it. It doesn't give me quite the punch that the twin reverb does, but it gives me a lot more options for sounds. It's a very versatile amp. I'm very pleased with it. It has the advantages it has over the twin reverb is, other than being easier to carry, first it has an effects loop, so that's changed my setup quite a bit and allowed me to put some things in behind the amp as opposed to from guitar through all this signal chain to the amp. And second, it has its own gain channel, and it gets some pretty good distortion and really good overdrive tones. That has been a real plus, because now I don't have to use an external source for distortion if I don't want to. So anyway, let's get to it. I'll start showing you my pedal board. Okay, so this is what my pedal board looks like. Kind of looks like Christmas with all the colorful boxes and blinking lights and stuff, but trust me, it is better than Christmas. First thing I want to remind you is that all my videos are mirror image because I'm a spaz with the photo booth program on the Mac. I don't know how to reverse it, so I'm not really a left-handed guitar player. Sorry, I can't help you with that. I wish I could, but I can't. So anyway, I'll tell you first that this little piece here at the bottom, where my foot is part of the, right here, that's part of the amplifier, not the pedal board. It's the foot switch for the amplifier, but it kind of works with the pedal board, so it goes there. So I can change my channel. For example, it's got two channels. Here is the vintage or clean channel. Okay, I've got the single coil selected, these two pickups here. Channel here, and this is really cool. It's I'm going to get a little overdrive here first. I'm going to use single coils on the Strat, this is kind of like what I did in John Spencer Get Your Pants Off here. Distortion. That's like a little overdrive with the single coils. Switch to the humbuckers, crank the gain up quite a bit. You can get like a metal. Crank the treble a little bit more. You still have a lot more gain to go here. There's this other setting here. Starts feeding back right away, something like this maybe. right about 2, and it goes up to 10. Doesn't go to 11, but kind of goes to 11 when it's set at 2. So that's pretty amazing. I get that great sound and feedback at such low volume. But anyway, so that's the amplifier. Let's go through the pedal board a little more. First thing here is a Keeley compressor. Well, first it goes into a tuner. It's a Korg tuner right here. And then this is a Keeley 4-knob compressor, which is pretty awesome. I'll tell you how I use this stuff in a second. Then this is a Line 6 FM4 filter modeler, which I don't use very often, and often it's not even on the board. Another thing I might put in its place is this Crybaby 535Q wah pedal, which is an awesome piece. So it's one of the best wah pedals you can get for the money, I think, that you pay for it. Very versatile. You can dial in all kinds of sounds. I've got mine set for Jerry Cantrell sound, and I used that in a couple of last year's videos. Bulls on Parade by Rage Against the Machine, and Alice in Chains' Man in the Box. So one of these two things will go here, or nothing at all. Next thing after that, so it goes tuner, compressor, FM4. Then this is a Little Big Muff fuzz box still. I also have one of these fuzz face minis. I have not put it on this particular pedal board yet. It's still in the experimental phase. It's a lot different. And maybe I'll show you the difference between the Little Big Muff and the mini fuzz face in another video. Anyway, so Big Muff, compressor, FM4, Big Muff into the phase 90, which you'll note is now before the amp's distortion because it sounds too raucous afterward. This particular is the cheapest model of the phaser, and it puts a lot of noise into the system. Okay, and then from there, this is another. So the Keeley is a key part of my setup, but also this is a new pedal here, this Hartman flanger, which again I've been experimenting with before and after the effects loop or not, and it's before the effects loop. So this is the last one in the chain before we go to effects loop, and then in the effects loop we have 2 choruses. This is a Neo clone. Analog chorus and a Boss CE5 digital chorus. I usually use the Neo clone for things with clean sounds, but occasionally I use it to make my guitar sound real spacey, and I'll show you what that does in a second. Where I did that. Like for example, Jerry Was a Race Car Driver. I used the Neo clone in there in the solo, and also in Bloom's solo, the Neo clone is on for the solo. This is what I normally use for distortion. It's a Boss CE5 chorus ensemble digital chorus, and it's set at a much milder setting, and I use it for like 80s type distortion chorus type sounds. Then this is a Boss TR2 tremolo, which I don't use all that much, but it's fun to have on here, and I like to keep it. Then I have a Line 6 DL4 delay, same as last year, and back here is another variable slot. It's another delay. This right now it has a Boss DD7 digital delay, but I also put sometimes in its place this Memory Boy delay, which is an analog Electro-Harmonix delay, which has a different sound to it. Anyway, next thing I'll do is I'll run through some of the sounds that I can make with it. Okay, rather than show you each pedal, I'm going to show you some of the sounds I make, how I use them in combination. If you want to see the pedals on, there's a million demos of these things out there. Okay, first thing I'll show you is my clean sound, my new wave WHAPP sound, which I talked about before, but I've kind of modified it a little bit to since I've gotten this new pedal board. First thing is I now have a Keeley compressor, which is far better than the MXR custom comp for this, but if you're on a budget, get the MXR custom comp because it is a great compressor for this kind of sound. Anyway, so the Keeley compressor is the first element. Here's the clean sound for reference one more time. Okay, I've got single coils on now. I've got the sustain and the attack cranked on the Keeley compressor, and the clipping and level at 12 o'clock. So that's the first element. You need a hyper compressed, cranked compressor. You can use single coils, or you can use humbuckers for it. Single coils is what I normally start with. Then I can stick a chorus on there, something like this. You get all that percussive kind of sound, and here it is with the humbuckers. Okay, and that's with the neoclone. Here's with the Boss Chorus Ensemble, which is set a little more subtly. So here's that. And with single coils. There's another kind of WHAPP I've been using, which is used by more like what Andy Summers of the Police does. And the key piece there is this Hartman flanger. This thing is incredible. I bought it this summer after looking for a flanger for so long. I finally found this gem. It's like an electric mistress, except for it's smaller. So it fits on my pedal board, and it's sparklier too. A lot of times Electro-Harmonix pedals look kind of bleak in color, but this thing is sparkly, and you turn it on and it sparkles too. It's amazing. So here it is without the compressors on and the clean channel. Here's with the Hartman. There's the delay pedal on. I'm using the Boss DD7 to add some delay to that. So that's the combination of Keeley compressor, Hartman flanger, humbucker pickup, and DD7 going into my clean channel. Okay, so another thing I did in Walking on the Moon is I just added like some infinite delay, which is another. So that's how I get the WHAPP sounds. It's basically, you need a good compressor, you need a good flanger, and some choruses to work with, and then delays after that. You can make some pretty neat 80s sounds. Okay, so I'll show you something else now. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit now about some of the distortion sounds I get. The 80s type distortion with a chorus attached to it, which is pretty commonplace in 80s music. First one I'll talk about is like the Hit Me With Your Best Shot overdrive sound, where I've got the burn channel selected. I've got the compressor on with everything at 12 o'clock, which is my normal setting when I use distortion for the compressor. And then all I have to do, well, let's see what that sounds like. I've got single coils selected. Ingredient into that is this Boss CE5 digital chorus here, and then it's not set for anything crazy, just a mellow, slow, deep but slow chorus. And I've cranked the treble a little bit more than I normally do on my amp for 80s sounds. Okay, so here's that. The solo in that song, I did not touch my pedal board. All I did was flip over to the humbucker. I'll probably screw this up, but we'll see what happens. you can also use this kind of sound for something more heavier, something like, say, we'll just crank the gain up, and you can do Cult of Personality on the humbucker. Or you might do something like Rush, something like this. Radio sounds in there, and I'm going to click on the phase 90 for that. Okay, so that's how you do that. 80s distortion with chorus. Okay, for In Bloom, I use the clean channel, and I still got a distorted sound. Now, how did I do that? What I did was, for the clean sound, I just clicked on the Neoclone, which is very similar. The compressor's on here with everything at 12 o'clock. The Neoclone is on, which is a chorus. It's very similar to Kurt Cobain's small clone chorus. And then I just play normally with the humbucker. Okay, so you got that. Then for the chorus, I turn off the chorus, ironically, and switch on the Little Big Muff to get the distortion to sort of imitate a bassman sound. Okay, so you got that. Then in the solo, again, I told you that sometimes I use the Neoclone. Normally I use this Boss CE5 for distorted tones, but in this case I'm going to use the Neoclone because that's what Kurt Cobain uses, and this is a pretty spacey kind of sound. I also use it in Jerry Was a Race Car Driver by Primus. So here it is. That's what I'm using for In Bloom. Okay, so I want to show you how in Voices Carry I imitated the synthesizer solo. First thing you need to do is you need to get some sustain, so I turn on the gain channel and select the humbucker. And then what I'm going to do to disguise my sound so it doesn't sound like a all the clicks of the pick, all you have to do is tap. To shape that basic sound so it sounds more like a synth. How did I do that? Well, the first thing I did was I clicked on this FM4 and it's set for Comet Trails on here. That's what that sounds like. So here it is without. So right there you have this now. Delay on it. Okay, so here I go. So that's all I did there. And that helped me to make my guitar into a synthesizer. Now, I'll run through some of the sounds on this FM4 here. Let's see what's got here. Okay, so that one's something like what Buckethead uses when he does his spastic space noises. Some other kinds of sounds. Mechanical kind of, I can manipulate the buttons here, but this gets all kinds of crazy stuff on it. Plus it has some other types of like wahs on it, like this here. All kinds of different crazy sounds on this. Anyway, so you get the idea. The FM4 is just a crazy pedal that I didn't give a very good demo of it, but you get an idea of what this kind of things, you can do on it. It's an awesome pedal if you're into crazy sounds. Okay, but anyway, I'll move on to the next sound. So thanks for watching. I'm hoping that what I showed you will give you some ideas on how to make different sounds. Just to let you know how I think when I make sounds. I don't think, oh, I'm just going to add another effect. What I do is I start with this concept of sound in mind, and then imagine what it is I have to do to make that sound. Whether that be choose a specific guitar and pickup configuration, a certain amp setting, and then what stomp boxes are the components of that sound. So I hear the sound in my head and then figure out a way to what the components might be, and then just experiment until I figure it out and tweak. But usually I'm pretty good at figuring out, like, oh, that has a chorus and a delay on, or that has compression and flanger on. I can tell these things just from listening because I've experimented enough. But anyway, take these ideas if you like, use them or change them or whatever, throw them away if you don't like them. But anyway, that's how I work. Somebody asked me to show a demo of my guitars. I can't do that right now because my Jaguar is still at the guitar doctor, and I've been using this new Stratocaster that I got, which has a humbucker in the bridge, and you can see that on all the videos so far from this year. But I do want to use the Jaguar again, and I'm going to wait to demo that when I demo the guitars when I get everything back from the guitar doctor, and I have all three of them. Okay, thanks for watching, and maybe I'll talk to you in my comments someplace. Thanks very much. Bye.